This is Steve Goranson with Action Coach Business Coaching, and welcome to the Jacksonville Business Spotlight Series. The purpose of our Business Spotlight Series is to interview local business owners and promote them on our social channels, as well as providing them and our audience here with some coaching and advice as well. So this is a free service that we are offering because if every small business is strong, then our economy and our community is strong as well. So today I have the pleasure of speaking with Lisa Almeida with Freedom Boat Club. Welcome to the program, Lisa. It's great to have you on here today.
Thank you so much. I'm excited that you brought me on. I love to talk about my business and, meeting you, and we have a mutual connection. So it's fun.
Awesome. So let's get started. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yes. So I am Lisa the Botanista. You may have heard. I did trademark that. And I am a born and raised Floridian. And actually, I claim that I bleed salt water when I get cut because my parents were competitive water skiers.
Oh, wow.
And they were competing when my mom got pregnant with me. And she actually skied with me until she was 6 months pregnant. And the doctor got wind of it and he said, you need to stop. And she told me later after I was born, well, I didn't want to stop just because you were in my belly. And so literally 6 weeks after I was born, my dad built a carrier that would float if I went overboard. And I was on the boat with them while they were practicing.
Oh, that is.
And she said, we just couldn't quit practicing because you were born. And so I've literally been smelling outboard motor oil since I was 6 weeks old.
That is awesome. I think you have the best business. They say that, the two happiest days in a man's life is when they buy and they sell their boat. But
yes,
when people really, do business with you, they're like buying and they're selling their boat every time they do business with you.
Well, actually, we changed that to the 3 happiest days are the day they buy the boat, the day they sell the boat, and the day they join Freedom Boat Club.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about Freedom Boat Club.
Freedom Boat Club has been around since 1989. The gentleman who started it was in Sarasota, Florida, and he had what we think is a brilliant idea. He started the business, and then he had 6 locations, and then he started franchising. So my partner, Kevin, and I own the Jacksonville, St. Augustine area. So we have Julington Creek, which is on the river.
Mm-hmm.
We have St. Augustine, which is on the intercoastal, right by Comanche Cove by the Volano Bridge.
Right.
And then we have Jacksonville Beach, which is also the intercoastal. So it's pretty much, whether you want to go on the river, inshore, offshore, you're pretty covered. You get unlimited usage at all 3 locations. So if you're a member here, you get to use all 3 unlimited. And then we have 300 locations across the United States and Europe, because we're in France now and Italy.
Oh, wow.
And so as a member, you get reciprocal use at all those locations. So you literally can plan your vacation around where there is a Freedom Boat Club. I love hearing people tell me about, other locations they've been to.
Oh, that is cool. So who are the people that tend to utilize your services? Who are your best customers?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. Most of our members are really from, I would say, 3 major areas. One is they were boat owners in the past, and for whatever reasons, financial, moved, got divorced, whatever, they didn't have the boat anymore. They want to come back into boating in a different way. Or they're that person that always dreamed of boating, always wanted to own a boat, but didn't know or understand. And then the third one is the couple that are married, and one person in the relationship always had a boat, grew up boating. The other one doesn't know anything about it. And so this is like a good compromise. It's really great for families that want to weave boating into their lifestyle, but they don't want to own the boat, and it's not going to be the only thing that they do. They have soccer, they have ballet, they have gymnastics, whatever, and they want to weave boating into it in a way that's affordable and also provides them the time.
So what has been really the impact of COVID had on your business?
We had no idea when this hit what was going to happen. And it was crazy because boating was one of the things that you could do. Everyone all of a sudden wanted to go boating. They wanted to buy boats and they were joining boat clubs. It was literally, we could not keep up with the phone calls. It was crazy. I've never experienced anything like it. But what was super cool about it is I think that it put boating back on the map as a recreational thing.
Mhm.
And that for me, for the born and raised Floridian, for the boater in me that wants to get everybody on the water, that just warmed my heart.
Yeah, so one of the things they say is that, smart people learn from their mistakes. Wise people learn from the mistakes of others. So what may be some mistakes that you might be willing to, that you've made along the way that you might be willing to share with other entrepreneurs to help learn from your experience?
Yeah. So what I would say, the biggest mistakes that I've made is when I didn't listen to my gut.
Ah,
That intuitive feeling always knows. And when I didn't listen to it and I did whatever it was anyway, it definitely didn't work out. So I have definitely learned to listen to that inner instinct. And I think that comes from experience and things you've done in the past. And so that is one thing. The other thing, Steve, that I would say that I think is so important is to follow your own rules. If you have a set of rules, don't sway from them, because that's what's important. You made those rules for a reason. They were set for a reason. And those are your guidelines and your principles. So follow those, don't break those. I found that in the times that we did, those were when the mistakes happened. So I would say those are my two, biggest things. And then the other thing that I think is really important, and I don't know that this falls in the mistake category, but I do think owners and entrepreneurs make this mistake, not taking the time to listen to that person that might have an idea. Like you and I connecting today. We never know what's going to grow out of that. So I answer my phone. I listen to the person that wants to call me with an idea, or they might have the great idea that I didn't think of. So, as a matter of fact, our mutual friend, and I think I can say it, Mark Vickers, my whole relationship with him started because he said I asked him for feedback and he said, I have some feedback to give you. And I listened.
isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
It's like my whole philosophy and how this whole program got started is I always think that when two people get together, there's always good that comes from that.
Yes. So like I might not end up being, a client of yours, and you might not end up being a client of mine, but we might have something else that happens out of it that becomes this great thing. So
Exactly.
I always keep that door open.
So what's inspiring you most these days?
The joy in my heart that I feel when I get people on the water who have dreamed of this their whole life. The guy who walks in my office and is like, you can't wipe the smile off his face. He just took his kids tubing for the first time, or he's always dreamed of catching that fish and he did. It's like that joy that you feel, or the first time a kid gets up on a wakeboard or a Zupboard. So I call them my God-given grandchildren because they're friends of mine. The 4-year-old just stood up on the Zupboard the first time last week.
Oh, wow.
And all of his brothers and sisters screaming and hollering and yelling on the back of the boat, and his smile this big. There's no money that can pay for
You can't
that
beat that.
inspiration. That's what inspires me.
So
Yeah.
Lisa, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Glad you were able to join us. If you really want to enjoy the waterways of Northeast Florida, you need to give Freedom Boat Club a call, and they can help you really enjoy the beauty that Northeast Florida has to give. My name is Steve Goranson with Action Coach Business Coaching, working with real people getting real results by helping them to work smarter and not harder.